Right, good evening everyone. John JMC here. Thank you all for joining us this evening. So, Haunted Halloween Railway Jake, first one in, good evening. Hot Dog Pilot Andy, good evening. Did miss your stream earlier because I was in here busy, but yeah, intrigued to know what the pizza was all about. But anyway, Dave R84, good evening mate. Peter Jackson, Cheadle Heath, hello John and all in the chat. So yeah, fingers crossed. I've got a different setting on tonight, so I'm hoping I should get a bit more of a closer, I think it's called a latency, excuse me. So basically I've reduced the latency, so in theory you guys typing, me reading it, should be a lot less time in between. So fingers crossed. We'll see how that works. Obviously I did the normal latency because I was concerned about my internet connection, but we'll see how that gets on. So Christopher's Hobby Blog, hello all. Tom Houston Model Railway, good evening. Hot Dog Pilot, I've already said his name. Flymo Chairman 1, good evening mate, thanks for joining us yet again. Flymo Chairman 1 with the moderating skills as he does with everyone else, so appreciate that all the time. Peachy 120, good evening. Alan Price, good evening. Mick at Lloyd's Central Station, good evening. Wow, Smallwood Junction, wow, lots of people in. Well, New Junction, oh blimey, I've missed him, crikey. Arranville, traditional night, maybe it's had to be parked in a little hidden siding, but I'll explain that in a bit. Alex Dent, wow, I'm actually blown away how many people are in the chat, this is crazy. Okay. Yeah, so good evening. Hope you're all well. So what's been going on here? Well, lots of things actually. Obviously I was ill at the start of this week, so that stopped me from doing a fair bit in the evenings. But yeah, so I've tried to progress things. The loop down the far end. Actually, I'll go to the camera, which I think is that one. That was well remembered. So yeah, you can just see on the left-hand side there, there's the blue Pullman. So what I've done is I've finished wiring in that double slip there. So it's now usable. And what I've basically done is I've made just a long siding down the far side that basically allows me just to park the blue Pullman out of the way, so that way I've got it. I've got access to be able to use the two loops for parking things up, etc. So fingers crossed, that should all work quite well. We see all the points changing down there. So yeah, fingers crossed. The other thing that's been going on is obviously I've been working on the lighting, as some of you guys have seen. Andrew Tempest, do you think that one of the larger retailer manufacturers should take over the Wally show? It's entirely up to them at the end of the day. It's not what I think, it's what they think at the end of the day. But I mean, we've got the new Key Model World Live, excuse me, which is being done by Key Publishing. That's Hornby magazine. To most of you, but obviously it'll be everything else as well, so it won't just be model railways there'll be all sorts there as well. There'll be Airfix and all those kind of things as well, but I believe. So yeah, that'll be pretty cool. I am going to it myself. I've got my Halland exhibition layout going. Halland is residing in that end of the garage at the moment, in boxes, all packed down. Because I currently don't have anywhere to store it or set it up at the moment. But there we go. That's great, John. Lighting videos were good. Yeah, it's coming along quite interesting. The only thing I have noticed is this evening I thought to myself, oh, I'll leave my main lights off and I'll just use the main light. I'll just use the layout lighting. There's only one problem with that, and I'll show you. If I turn the lights off, that's what happens down the loop end of the layout. So yeah, I can't see nothing down there. So yeah, that's a problem when it comes to actually doing things. But overall, when you go and have a little look around the layout, I mean, this one is my favourite at the moment because of all the lights in the MPD area. So that's looking pretty cool. And of course, my firebox glows that go in the locomotives as well. They all look really cool as well. Let's just let all the cameras adjust and stuff. The only problem is that one seems to overexpose in the top there, which is a bit disappointing. But I can't really do nothing about that. This one looks quite nice as well. But yeah, you can basically see where it overexposes, and so yeah. But the MPD, that just looks cool, I think. I think that just looks wicked. So yeah, I'm really happy with how things are coming along, how the layout's progressing. So yeah, I'll go to camera 4 there. So again, you can see me in the bottom corner, just there. But yeah, so I mean, things are progressing quite well. Obviously, there's little things that I need to sort, rectify, etc. But overall, I mean, the way things are coming is pretty good, actually. Some of you will have noticed as well, there's a new back scene on the wall. Yay! So yeah, what I've done is I've basically invested in some lining paper that has a graphite back to it as well. So my intention with doing that was to obviously give a bit more insulation in here, maybe cut down my heating bill a little bit. But yeah, so basically what we've got on the wall is we've got the back scene there, and then behind it is basically the lining paper, a thick lining paper, and then behind that is the graphite lining paper as well. Now, I know it's daft as it sounds, but touching the wall before, you could feel the cold coming through the brick. And now it's a case of I've got that lining paper up. Well, I can put my hand up there and it's toasty, basically. It's nice. Well, say it's toasty, it's warm, basically. So yeah, that's obviously done some pretty good stuff, actually. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. Looks like late evening. Oh, here's the funny thing about this. So I can actually change it to like a dusk evening. So yeah, I can put like the pink on. Yeah, I think it looks quite effective over on that side, if I'm honest. More so. But then the idea was to go like this blue, and that's like the dead of night kind of thing. Now, obviously I need a lot more lights fitted in places to make that work a lot better. The signal boxes have now got some lighting in them as well. So they show up, well, I say they show up, but the problem is the cameras don't really, I mean, actually you can see this one over here actually, so yeah. So yeah, the signal boxes are all lit up now, just give me a bit more lighting in the buildings. But yeah, it's basically been a main focus of concentrating on the lighting. And while we're on the subject of lighting as well, so obviously everyone was quite intrigued to know how I was going to do the Wi-Fi and the controller and all the lighting and all this sort of stuff. Now, unfortunately, I have to stick my hand up and say, because I've never tested it or never tried it, maybe I should have tried it before I put this system up. Might have been the better idea to do it. So unfortunately the lighting isn't working how I would have liked, sadly. So brings me on to the next topic of conversation. I've had to invest in one of these. Now, some of you may know this. This is obviously the no longer made DigiKeys unit. And so this was probably the last one that I could find on sale anywhere. So I have to thank Kevin down at Coastal DCC, for sorting me that one out. So yeah, basically this unit will be fixed up Up. I say up because it's basically going to go up in the sort of loft section of the layout, that kind of thing. And basically, this will link the 2 power supplies to it. One side will control the lighting in this room. The other side will control the lighting in the far room. And then, of course, the other cool advantage with this is I can also then put a trigger output on this unit, which basically drops 12 volts around the layout, basically. And with that will then turn on the lighting, on the layout at the appropriate time. I'm half expecting that this will have to go through a relay system because I don't know how powerful the output is. So the fact of the matter is there will be there's going to be a lot of lights on this layout, basically. So yeah, this will probably end up going around to a relay, and then that will trigger a main 12 volt feed for all the lighting across the whole layout. Now, interestingly, what I've done is I've also configured the lighting in certain ways as well. So for instance, if I go back to this one here, what I can do is I can bring up my lighting control. Where is it? I've lost it. I can bring up the lighting control, and then basically what I can do is I can turn off all the shed lighting. But ideally what I want this to basically control the lighting, as opposed to a DCC address. So there's lots of different ways of doing it, that kind of thing. I can link this in with a DCC as well, so it can take a DCC feed into it, so I can trigger the lighting myself. I don't want to do that. I want this to control the lighting for me. So I want the ability of this literally changing on the hour from night and day. Now, I've seen it work. There are different ways of setting it up. There is a USB interface for it as well. So there's an application or a piece of software, that you load onto the computer, and the idea is you can then set your day, evening, night, morning, day sort of sequence. Sorry, had to count that out then. But yeah, and then at the same token, you can then also configure when you want this to come on. So for instance, as it goes from day to evening, you can then turn the lights on. As it goes from evening to night, the lights will obviously stay on. And then as it comes into morning, it's a case of, well, the lights will still be on in the morning, so we'll leave them on. But then basically when it gets to day, it then turns that output off. So that's the plan. That's the plan anyway. I wish someone would make a much better lighting sort of system for layouts, because I mean, I've got the Ewenbrock DCC lighting on my Byway MPD layout, and that's basically built up in strip bars, and that all links into LocoNet. So that's a great solution, but the cost of it is phenomenal. I mean, that's £200 just to do my little 4'6" layout. Now, that is extreme amount of money. I mean, obviously it does all like night and day, it does thunder and lightning, it does absolutely everything. But trying to put this up around this layout, 30 feet in its entirety, oh man, I can't even begin to work that out in my head now. 70, it's about £1,200 to light up this entire layout. That's, yeah, I don't even want to spend that on a loco, let alone flipping lighting for the layout. But anyway, so yeah, manufacturers, come on, get with it. This is a cool little feature that could be really useful on our layouts. So come on, someone make a decent system. Should be going to Doncaster, as it's not far from me. I'll be going to the Doncaster show. Ooh, actually, that's coming up fairly soon, actually. So yeah, I must remember to put that in my diary. Jerry BVR, I haven't said good evening to you. Cobberton Junction, I haven't said good evening to you either, so I'll say good evening on a little ramble chat. The blue colour is good. This is the thing. I can do all sorts. I can do all sorts of different colours with it. I can do yellow, for goodness sake. But the cameras, I don't know. It's the way the cameras work with the colour. That's the, like originally I was going to set it to red for my sort of my dusk or red sky at night. But I mean, look at that. That's like it's a bit scary, I think. So yeah, I thought the pink was kind of a nicer colour. But saying that, the cameras don't really work that well. And of course, the other problem is the overexposure on the cameras. So, for instance, especially the small cameras. So if I put the small cameras on, this will be quite interesting. Oh, it didn't. Oh, that responded very quickly, actually. So yeah, if I go to another camera though, it'll be a different story. It's quite literally like the. It's quite literally like the blast in Blooming Terminator. There you go. That's not just a reflection off my head, guys. Yeah, as you can see, the cameras really do. Ugh. So yeah, that's its actual colour. Obviously, the little the grounded van there. That's a bit of a work in progress at the moment, but I got a little bit sidetracked with lots of things. So yeah, it's trying to make all this work, etc. So yeah, let's get all the cameras at a reasonable level. There we go. Wait for that one to catch up. That's going to be quite important tonight. But yeah, so we've got lots going on with the layout at the moment. There's lots of different things happening. It's just, yeah, it's absolutely, it's craziness. It really is. So 10th and 11th of February, cool. That's a good one. I'll have to make a note of that and pop along. 10th and 11th of February. Oh, let's go and have a look. I'll have to go on the 11th because I'm working on the 10th. That's a shame. I will put it in my calendar now. There we go. So, the other thing I've been doing is I've been playing around with some lighting decoders as well. I'm quite impressed with these little guys, actually. So I'll pull these up on the camera. So these little things are NCE Light It decoders. They do another variation as well, which I think I can't remember what it's called now, but they do another version of these which basically has the plugs on them for the Just Plug range as well, so that's pretty cool. But basically, so these little decoders, there's 6 of these in total, but these little decoders here, you tie them into the DCC. They have an onboard light as well, so you can use them inside the building. But the other quite cool feature is you've got the ability to have 3 outputs on the top there, direct to them, and then there's a little tiny button there for programming them. But the idea is basically you can put these in the building, you can connect them to the DCC, and if you've got any external lighting, so for instance if I go and pull up, oh actually it's probably better if I go that camera there because I can show you. So that little building that's just on the outside of the shed there, this one here, it's actually got one of those lighted decoders inside. You can just see it tucked underneath there. And then what it does is basically that illuminates the actual building itself. That illuminates the building itself, and then the actual lights that fit to the outside of the building uses the outputs. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Illuminator, thank you, Stuart Wright. There we go. So yeah, the Illuminator is basically one of these, but it's got the Just Plug lighting units on it. This is the Light It. So I don't mind a bit of soldering, so yeah, I've got the Light It ones, but yeah, they do the Illuminators, which are basically slightly larger versions of these that have 3 plugs on them for the just plug lighting, so that's pretty cool. We've got so many lights going on this layout in the next few months. I'm going to say months because sometimes it's a bit hard to get the enthusiasm to come out here and crack on with your layout when you've spent the entire day working with model railways. So yeah, might see you there, John. Yeah, it'd be good to catch up, Alan. Do look out for me. I'll probably take the wife with me as well if she wants to come. So Mrs. G, if you're in the chat, let us know. Good idea with the buildings where the boards aren't going to run hot. The boards don't run hot at all. They are brilliant. They are really good. The cameras, the little cameras that I've got in the buildings on this layout, they run hot, and they've got their own little. Where are they? Can't find them now. But I've got my own little aluminium heat sinks that I put on the back of the cameras to try and keep the heat down in them. And so far, so good. They seem to be working. This one, I did have this camera on for quite a long period earlier today, and it did start to flicker a little bit. There was no burny smells or no like excessive heat or melting of the building or anything like that. You know, the building's absolutely fine, but it just seemed that it just got hot and started flickering. It was really strange. I left it off for about half an hour, and lo and behold, it's come back exactly how we normally see it. But there we go. Clydebridge Station update on the layout went live yesterday, but I'd better update you all on the number of 47s I have. Currently 27 47s, ScotRail next month. Mate is selling me one for £50 to make it 28. Excellent. Well, I'm up to 8 of the Acura scale class 37s. I'm trying to make it number 9 because I want to buy one of the exclusives that was done through Rails of Sheffield as well. My 2 Bachmann ones, my 2 Bachmann Soundfit Deluxe ones, they are going to be going up for sale. So they are slightly different to the standard Bachmann one in the sense that I've taken the Zimo decoder out of them and I've replaced it with an ESU decoder. So there's a much different sound set on them as well. So that'd be pretty cool. So Clydebridge, one of my locos came from a shop you may be familiar with. Bought it on eBay, Rails of Sheffield. There you go. Cool. In actual fact, I've been helping people out this week because obviously the Rails of Sheffield one, they've got the Rails Operation Group Class 47, and there was a chap, Harold Road, I think it was, and he made a post on Facebook which we saw, and we ended up sorting him out a body because he was missing a logo on one side of his body actually. So yeah, we sorted that out for him. Harold Road, check him out. That's pretty good. It's pretty good stuff actually. I like it. Do they only work with the NCE system? Definitely not, because I have the Yamork system on my layout, or the DR5000, however you want to call it. But basically they're just DCC, so any DCC system can turn these on and off. So that's pretty cool. Phil Morton, good evening. I hope you've recovered from your craziness of Christmas with the big Making Tracks layout. But yeah, I'm really gutted I didn't make it again. Health problems, but there we go. If you run the lights, if you have lights running off 12 volt PSU, then just simple switch or a simple on off switch. Yeah, I could put that through a relay, Tim. I could put that through a DCC relay, so that's not a problem, Tim. I'm just trying to catch up with the comments. Oh, I think I have caught up with the comments. Woo! Excuse me. Sorry, Clydebridge. Will Rails of Sheffield be at Model Rail Scotland next month? No, they certainly won't. So I don't think they do any shows now at all, actually. Me and the wife are thinking of going. However, it's a case of we've got a choice of Model Rail Scotland, or we can go to Hamburg for the week and go see Miniature Wonderland. Sorry guys, it's going to be Miniature Wonderland. We would like to go to Scotland though, because there's a few layouts that we'd like to go and see. What DCC relays would you use? I'm looking to do one on my depot layout that I'm building. Several different ones, hang on. Quite partial to these, Tim. So these are Ewenbrock relays. So this particular one is a Ewenbrock SD2. Now it's a pair of contacts, so there's two contacts and there's two DCC addresses. So they do the SD1, which is basically it's a pair of contacts, but it only uses one address. So that's like a double pole, double throw switch basically, whereas this is essentially two single pole, single throw switches. Is the way that would be worded. There is the Train Tech one as well, the RL1. So that's a good one for what it is as well, and that's programmable. So you can basically program it so both relays fire on the one address, or each relay fires on an individual address. So yeah, you can program that, whereas these are fixed basically. So you either send two addresses to this one, or the SD1 you send one address to that. So yeah, they're pretty good. The other relay, while we're talking about relays, the other one that they do actually, which is quite a useful one as well, is they do this one here, which is basically like a block detection one. So this is the GBM 43400. I don't make the part numbers up, but there we go. But this one's quite good in the sense that if you've got a train occupying a piece of track, it's then got a pair of relay contacts that basically you can output to do something. So so for instance, in your case, Tim, if you pulled a train into the engine shed, you could basically use this to basically detect that there's a loco in the engine shed and turn the lights on. So that would be a cool little feature. So that'd be a cool little way of doing it as well. My idea with this one was I'm actually going to make a delay area. So I'm going to use an ABC board that basically when the train goes into the section, it then detects there's a train in the section, stops the train, and then once it stops the train, it then activates a timer. The timer then counts down and then releases the train. So that way it gets me a little bit more time to sort things at this end before the train comes back from that end. So that's the plan. Honestly, like my wife said to me earlier, because we were looking for something earlier, and do you know what? I could not find them anywhere. I was hunting high and low for them. I'd honestly thought, I had in my head that I must have sold them, because I swear I had more. I swear I had more of these little lamps, these lamps here, these yard lamps. I could have sworn I had more of them, and I was hunting high and low for them. I couldn't find them absolutely anywhere. And then lo and behold, I literally went in one of the drawers earlier. I can't remember what I went to find, and then I spotted the packaging for one of them, and they were all stuffed in there. And I was like, well, why are those four? The four that are currently on behind me on the layout, they were in a different box, and I couldn't work it out at all. I really couldn't work out at all why the heck they were in a different box. But anyway, problem solved. They're now found. So I've got one extra lamp to go just over here, so there'll be one more lamp going in there on that side. The siding in the corner there, which Thomas lives in at the moment, that one there, there'll be a yard lamp in that bit as well there, so that'll get sorted. So yeah, there'll be some pretty cool things to do. Tim, oh wicked, like the sound of that, cool, that's good. Perfect, thanks John. Sodor Dan the Man. I'm looking for 3 J94s in N and 00. Okay, that'll be an interesting hunt, especially in the two different scales. Iron Horse Railways, good evening, mate, and everyone in the chat. Ooh, what's this? What was that, John? What was what, John? Hello, Pete. How do, mate? Thanks, Craig. Getting better now too. Have you been unwell, Peter Jackson? I know that feeling. I got over a sickness bug. To catch a cold was probably the best way to explain what happened to me. Tim, sorry to say we don't currently sell the Ewan Brock relays. DCC train automations would be my place to go for those. So check out James's website. Tell him John JMC sent him your way. Always find something you want when you're not looking. Just don't. Seriously, the amount of times that I've gone in that drawer, I have a chest of drawers down there, basically, that's just full of DCC stuff. And the amount of times I go through them, and I'm like, oh, I forgot I had that, or oh, I didn't know I had that, or it's bonkers. It really is daft. So yeah, my wife said to me, you need to make a little inventory list. So yeah, that is my plan. At some point I will be making a little inventory that I can pull up, and it will tell me exactly what I have, because honestly I'm going to get to the point where I end up buying something that I don't need, which would be daft. Oh, hello, I've just noticed all the cars. Hey. I didn't know any better. I'd say somebody's been playing in here, and as the only person that's been here today has been my wife, I'm kind of curious to know why those cars are all on the track there. That's interesting. Oh, that's funny. I think Iron Horse was asking me about that little box. That little box is a block detection. So there's two different styles of relays. So you can get a block detection relay that basically I'm going to trigger with an ABC board as well. So it basically gives me like a delay for when my trains are basically not running. Speaking of trains not running, should I run something? Because I've just realised we've been on the air now for a good half an hour and I haven't moved a single locomotive. Let's go with that one. It was very, very silly of me, wasn't it? I'll get the right camera eventually. Get Thomas shifting something. Everyone seems to love Thomas. I guess you can't really be in this hobby without liking Thomas, really, let's be honest. Has to be something wrong with you if you're in this hobby. That A4 again. Oh, what's wrong with my A4? I like my A4. Thomas, please, says Mark Wilson. Oh, dear, oh dear. I like Nigel Gresley, though. It's definitely one that I have a bit of a spot for. Mainly because I went and did all the recordings for it. It's weird now because I've actually got to go and check the loop to make sure I've actually got a clear run round. I'm not used to this. What's wrong with the A4? It's not Thomas. Alright, I'll run Thomas. Just relax. Crikey, wow. So while that one's gone. This could be fun. Right, because I've not watched the Gresley, I bet that's overshot. Oh no, it's actually parked in a good place. Cool, excellent. Maybe I should put an ABC board on that loop. Ooh, get me thinking. Yes. Alright, we'll get Thomas out in a minute. Goodness sake. I've got to clear my platform. Never had so much stuff in my platform before. Need to make some room. This is different. Right, let's get... I need to clear some room, so sorry guys, I need to... I'm sceptical. I don't think that lot is going to fit. Not seen the crab yet, have you? So yeah, there we go. Right, I need to catch up. Thomas on the Express working, not just Annie and Clarabelle. It won't pull any more than Annie and Clarabelle, that's the problem. I do like an A4, especially the whistle. Don't tell anyone, though. Probably announcing it live on chat is probably not the way to go, Mark. Maybe I need to get Thomas for my layout, but... Excellent. A4s. I only have one A4. Mr. Wilson, you're a diesel man too. Might run my Farish 66 while watching the stream, or the Radio 28. My only two N-Gage locos. Well, get them out, get them running. That's what I say. I don't think that's going to work, so I'm going to have to put that in the loop, I think. For some reason, I thought it'd be a great idea to get more coaching stock out. And now I've done it, I really wish I hadn't. It's a shame that the Bachmann Thomas is crap. Yeah, it's not great. It's got no weight to it. It goes wrong all the time. It struggles. Yeah. Obviously, Phil would be the one to talk to about longevity when it comes to locomotives performing, etc. Because let's be honest, on a massive layout like that, They've got the locos have got to perform, really, haven't they? Train Tech, the RL1, Tim, that'll do the job. What I might have to do is I might have to back this one into the siding, which means, annoyingly, I'm going to have to... I was really hoping I wouldn't have to go down the far end, but as the wiring and the points aren't finished down the far end just yet, I'm going to have to. How annoying, right? You can go watch me balls this up now. Told you. Well, weirdly enough, that actually worked better than I thought. So, sorry, I need to play catch up on the chat now, don't I? Chris Jones. Hi, John. Hope you're well. Yeah, I'm good, mate. Did you use a nail punch? Ooh, what have I missed? What have I missed? Something's not gone to plan. Oh dear, la 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 la. I'm intrigued by this nail punch idea, but there we go. Frustrating laying track. Yeah, spectating gauge is a bit frustrating at times. So I had to get rid of a train. get it down to the turntable. Alternately, we can just put it in. Yeah, let's just put it in that one there, I think. How does the stream look to everyone? Is the latency okay, etc.? So I'm curious to see how long it's taking me to actually make a comment in relation to when you guys post it as well. So I'm hoping it's working slightly better. But again, we'll have to wait and see. Peter Jackson looks good to me, so that's interesting. Without the seems fine to me, John. Okay, cool. So here's a question: if somebody posts something in the chat, how long do we think it takes for me to respond? That'll be the interesting thing, because the idea of the latency. Keep forgetting to ask. Other than Thomas. What other Thomas characters you got? I've got Edward, but I need to do some. I need to do some converting with that. Sounds a little better to me as well. Sound seems a little. Shame I can't read. That's the problem. Latency test sending at 7:47. Well, 7:47 exactly. It's no good when I've got no. Right, okay, alright, let's do this then, Iron Horse. Right, I've got my watch at the ready. That tells me in seconds. So, if you could do a post at 48. You read that about 40 seconds after I sent it. I was hoping for better latency than that, to be honest. So, do 48. Which is coming up in now. Yeah. Okay, that's literally come up at 48. Yeah. Okay, so the latency is about 5 seconds. That's pretty cool. All right. Okay, that's pretty cool. Synchronized watches. Yes. No, wicked. All right, that's really good. That's loads better than before. I swear, last time it was about 30 seconds or something like that. So, yeah, that's really cool. All right, wicked. Oh, I'm quite thrilled by that. That's been bugging me for a while. That has. Ooh, hang on. No. What's that one? What's going on here? Right, you asked for it. There we go. Some of you who are quite keen and do watch the channel, you might actually notice that Thomas has a new face. Admittedly, he's got a bit of whites around the eyes at the moment, which I need to sort out. But yeah, overall, I think it looks pretty good. Doesn't sound good. Intriguing. actually go down the far end. Moving eyes, John. Yeah, I've tried to keep the moving eyes as best I can. I'll try and keep the theme tune quiet, because otherwise I'll get noted. I'll get a telling off or something. It's playing! I promise! I'll play it when it gets back in here. But if I get, like, copyright problems or something, that face is better than Bachmann's. Yes, loads better than Bachmann's. There was one thing I really wasn't... It was one thing I really wasn't happy with. Yeah, copyright strikes. That's my big worry about doing this. Even though it's my own personal kind of thing, and it's my own entertainment, that kind of thing. Is it my own entertainment when I'm broadcasting it live, though? That's the biggest problem, isn't it? So, I can hear it. It's just very quiet. Yes, there's a reason for that. I just used my DeLorean back now. We'll put him in the platform. We'll put him in the bay platform. Here we go then, peeps. Hurry, 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 he says. Excellent. Oh dear. Clockwork Thomas. I think I had a Clockwork Thomas, actually, now that you guys say it. There we go. Oh, that does look quite funny, but there we go. Clockwork Orange Thomas. Excuse me. Excuse me. Never mind. Well done, Thomas. I'll tell you what we'll do for Mark's. Just for Mark. We'll send a diesel round. Put some new whistles on the 08 as well. I've now got a playable. And then a toot toot. Just for Mark, there we go. Oh, that's a shame. I've already got Concrete Bob, otherwise I'd have had that off your Iron Horse. But yeah, there you go, guys. If anybody's after a Concrete Bob, go see Iron Horse Railways. It's a lovely model. I really like mine. I think the first three I got was Lockheed, Concrete Bob and Spirit of the Lakes. They were the first three that I got. People love Thomas at Blakemere. Unfortunately, he had a... had to be sacrificed is chipped to a... No way! Please send me a video clip of that, Phil. That would be so funny. Oh, of course it's weathered. Ooh, yes. That'd be pretty good. Concrete bubble, nice and dirty and weathered. Put the 08 on the Express in the station. That probably would have made a lot more sense, actually. It's my railway and I'll do what I want to. Right, come back, 08. Acura Scale Thomas. With duck. Excellent. That's cool. Gronk on the Express. Fine, we're doing it. It's coming back. Cinders and ashes, says Thomas. It's like I'm narrating a Thomas episode now. Crikey. Right, we need to... Where's Duchess? There it is. Duchess needs to go back. Ding 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 ding. Donk. That was a good idea, Sodor Dan. I like that idea. Bit of wrong line running as well. We like it. We like it. We like it. Shame I can't get the signals right, but anyway. Oh, well, that's happening. If there's one thing you can guarantee about Thomas, though, it does give us a heck of a lot of amusement. So that is one thing that's brilliant. So I can't send links in the chat, I don't think. Oh. Try it. It should, in theory, ask one of us to approve it, or I think I could be wrong. But yeah, I mean, if you want to send a link, Iron Horse, send it in the chat, and then myself or well, actually, you're a moderator. Iron Horse, you're a moderator, so you can approve your own link. Wait for the little light to come on. There you go. I have no idea where the 08 is. Oh, that's good. Yeah, the concrete bob one, to be fair, if I didn't have a concrete bob, I would definitely try and get that one, guys. Concrete bob is definitely worth having. So yeah. Great weathering job, Iron Horse. There we go. That's the other beauty part of it as well. Like, normally you'd have to pay to get it weathered, but in this case it's done for you. So you win. Everyone wins all round on that one.
Cinders and ashes.
It's one of my nicer jobs too. Excellent. I feel like I need to have a look at this myself now. Everyone's commenting on it. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, it's quite nice. Yeah, that looks good, Iron Horse. Yeah, that does look good, actually. Guys, I think you should go and have a look at that. So, yeah. Have you had any engine issues or track issues with your Class 37 like Charlie has and others had? No, I haven't. And this is what absolutely makes me laugh every single time I see anything to do with these. I haven't had any problems. I don't get it. Wow, I left the overhang of that quite far, didn't I? Now, I should probably fess up and say that. Go on, John. You know you want another one. The one thing that is definite, though, I'll definitely be able to sell my one if I did get your one, but there we go. Like that catch rail on the edge of the turntable. Huh? Did the wheels on the Loco catch the edge of the rail then? Did I have it parked just too far over the back then? Whoops, sorry. feel like I need to lose that in the shed. I mean, I've got gradient changes in my layout. Like, for instance, the 2-track main line that you see leading out actually rises compared to the engine shed. So there's actually a rise in the track. Yeah. I mean, I've not had any problems with my Acura Scale 37s. Now, full disclaimer here, obviously, when I get mine, I do modify the settings on mine ever so slightly. So the first thing I do is go CV53, and I change that up to 130. And then I set CV5 to a value of 180. Now, the idea of that is basically I don't like the fact that the sound file has had the reference voltage to the motor capped to reduce the top speed. I feel it should be the other way round. I feel the top speed should be capped on the actual decoder rather than the actual voltage. So I give the motor its full voltage that it's supposed to be working with, and in turn I then basically reduce the top speed on CV5. And that is one thing that I have done with the Acura Scale 37 since I first had them, and I've not had a single problem with any of mine. Now, I can't categorically say that's the reason why, but that is one of the changes I do make to them as well. All of my 37s are also on the latest firmware version as well. So in regards to things like sound and all that sort of stuff, well, I can play with that, I can adjust that, but I haven't. So again, I don't know. I find it really interesting that that people have problems with the Acura Scale 37s. As I say, I've got 8 of them, and I do not have a single problem with any of them. So, yeah. Yeah, I find that really strange. I really do. Could my CV changes be the way forward? Excuse me. Itchy nose. I don't know, is the honest answer. What's the easiest way to update the firmware on a 37, John? Lock programmer, basically. I've got a lock programmer just there, basically. So that's what I use to do the changes. Seems to work fine for me. So, do you know what? I've just thought of something actually. Mr. Wilson, are you still in the chat? Ooh. Okay.
Cinders and ashes.
That was weird. Okay. Sorry, guys. That's the general sort of thing I would say too, Flymo. But yeah, I guess, well, I don't know, really. I mean, I just know out of I've got the 92 as well. So yeah, my Class 92 doesn't have any problems either. Aha! Mark, you are still in the chat. Right. Okay, let me just get this loco in. I've bought another diesel locomotive. Now, I ended up going out somewhere. I can't say where, unfortunately. But I ended up going out and I was confronted by a locomotive. And big loco, and it kind of got me thinking and got me wondering and all this sort of stuff. And we've got a manufacturer who's currently producing or going to be producing one. No names or anything like that. But yeah, it got me thinking. So it got me looking at this particular locomotive online. And I didn't want to sit there and wait for this production model to be turned into an actual model and all this sort of stuff, because I sort of had the craving for it there and then. And I've got the 92 already in the GBRF livery, and I must say it looks stunning. It's such a lovely livery, that particular one. So yeah, I thought I would look at another locomotive. So yeah, Mark. Admittedly, the body's off at the moment, but yes. So yeah, I went and bought myself a Hornby
Cinders and ashes.
Class 60, basically. Now I got to be honest, it's very cool. I really like the look of it. It's very, very cool. I've had to do some modifications to it. Because there were a few little gremlins wrong with it. So the first thing I've done is I've taken out the cab ends, and I'm going to be modifying the lighting, so the marker lights, the headlight and the nighttime light will all be different. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to fit some cab lights in this as well. The other thing I'm going to do as well is I'm also going to modify this completely. So it will have engine room lights as well. So yeah, I'll do a modification so there'll be some engine room lights there, so that will light up all down the sides there as well. And as you can see, I've stripped all the Hornby gubbins out because I have a plan to do my own setup and my own lighting, etc. in this particular model. So that's my plan, basically. That's my plan, basically. I do have other people's work that I need to crack on with first, though. So yeah, this is probably going to be a long while off yet, sadly. But yeah, I just look at it and just think how cool. So yeah. So that is the new addition to the JMC fleet, a Class 60. So yes, get the Class 60 in N scale. I might as well clip the body back on that. There you go. That looks pretty. That looks pretty now. So yeah, my diesel fleet is slightly expanding, but there we go. It's not a railroad 60. It's the full fat one, basically. I didn't pay that much for it, actually. I bought it off eBay for, I paid 110 or 120, I can't remember now. So, yeah. Mark Wilson, a Tug, Class 60, one of my favourite locomotives. That livery really suits them. Yes, it really does, actually. But then the 92 that I've got, let me grab that, hang on. I've not actually run this with any stock yet, actually. Well, mainly because it's got the Hunt couplings in it, so I need to change it. But yeah, that's my 92, my Cura Scale 92 that I have. It's got a little bit of dust on it, actually. But yeah, I mean, I saw that come up at work to go on eBay, and I just basically said, well, don't put it on eBay, I'll buy it. So it is full sound and all this sort of stuff. The one thing I have done is I've inverted the mapping though, so it's in DC mode, so it's basically picking off the rails, it's picking off the third rail as opposed to the pantographs going up, because my tunnel's a little bit on the low side there. So if I ran this through with the pantographs up, I would take the pantographs off. So yeah, my way of getting round that was to basically invert the mapping so it's in DC mode all the time, and then I have to activate it to put the pantographs up, basically. So yeah, really cool loco though. Really like that. Got the got some bits coming from Akira Scale this week. So the crew, we've got a crew coming for this as well, because let's be honest, no loco is complete without a crew. And just sitting those two next to each other, that Class 60 and that 92. Oh yeah, they look nice. That's a nice livery. That is a really nice livery. I knew it. John will end up paying to work at Rails. Not yet. Oh, I'm a little bit peckish. I would love the Class 69 in GBRF. Which one though? GBRF currently own all of them, and they've got weird liveries on all of them. So yeah, I mean the Farish Class 60, you can get that limited edition one that comes in that nice box as well. That'd be pretty cool. Stuart Wright. The sound file on the Farish Class 60 is good, but there'll be better ones. Yeah, there will be when I do mine. DB have sold all of their 60s, I think. Probably right there. The pantographs can't pick up electric. They're not electric pickup. Not on the actual model as well. We have one in stock apparently, says Iron Horse. So, ooh, I'm tempted. Sound or non-sound? Oh, you're going non-sound, aren't you? Cinders and Ashes. Even Thomas is not happy about not having any sound. Crikey. 60s are still on regular Drax trains here. Nice. That'd be cool. Non-sound for now anyway. That's fine, don't worry. That's fine, Iron Horse. Flymo Chairman commenting Rails of Sheffield's website. So yeah, it's funny how things change, isn't it? This time last year I was working for Digitrains and now I'm working for Rails of Sheffield. Yeah, that's why I'm surprised you haven't got one, if I'm honest, Iron Horse, because the 60s do get up on the stone trains and the gypsum trains up your way. So yeah, I think it would be pretty good. I think it'd be a really good loco for you to have, to be honest. So there you go. Should I move something? Should I get something back? I don't know what we've got. I don't know what's going on. I'm confused. What I need to do, I need to put some like mirrors. You know when you see like people backing out of driveways and they've got like their mirrors to basically look down the road and all this sort of stuff. This is what I need in this layout. I need like a mirror up there so I can see the coupling area. I need like a mirror over there so I can see what's behind the shed and all that sort of stuff. James Pets, hello! How are you, mate? Good to see you in the chat there. I always seem to join you this near the end. Well, no, you've still got a good 40 minutes left. So... I'll tell you what, I can't remember the name of the YouTuber at the moment, but there's a YouTuber out there who's doing some fantastic videos. Extra cameras, John. Like, I need extra cameras. This is the problem. I need cameras on the layout. Speaking of cameras on the layout, there is actually one in the top corner over there that I don't actually use anymore. So what I'll do is I'll quickly bring that up, actually. Oh, peanuts. Not actually touched. Iron Horse, I really did like your video that you did on the Stay Alive's going in your 28, but I'm going to pull out my box, my little tray of parts here, because I found it really interesting what you did. So that's a Stacko unit, which has 2 caps and a circuit board. Now, that will give you probably about, on a little N scale loco, probably about 3 to 4 seconds. So that would have been a lot easier to go in your loco. And tiny caps, like on the DCC Concepts one, but only 2 of them. Then you went for the Lay's DCC one. So that's the normal size caps in a different configuration. But then you've also got the smaller versions of those caps. So there's 4 caps still, but smaller caps. And they do all sorts of different versions of those. So they do, like, there's 4 in a line in that one. Four in a row on that one. So yeah, there was lots of different options you could have done there, and the caps are. No, here's one of the caps. Hang on. There's one of the caps. You know, so yeah. I was intrigued by your video actually, and I felt like I needed to send you. I felt like I needed to send you a load of bits that I had, basically. Never mind. Tell you what, I'm going to go and find that camera. There we go. It does still exist. So that camera angle that we used to know very well, it's still there. John, you send me what you want, mate. So yeah, how many of you can actually remember this camera angle? Buswine Junction, there's a name I've not seen before. Good evening, I hope you're well. Thank you for joining us this evening. Sorry I'm late. Sorry, I don't do that on this channel. CV66 to 1 or 0. Depends on the decoder you're using, Iron Horse. What DC system do you use? I use the Yamaroc. It was the DR5000, but then we did an upgrade to it, which changed it to the Yamaroc YD7001. So yeah. Did we have this conversation last time we were on the stream? I think we did. I seem to recall something like this. Haven't worked on that yet. Oh, you've upgraded. Yes. So basically what you do is you go to DCC Train Automations. YD9401 is the part number. YD9401. And of course my screen's going to go mental in a second. So just for a minute, just while I type in numbers and stuff. But yeah, basically get one of those, and what you can do is you can basically take the cover off the DR5000, install this board into it, and then do the firmware upgrade, and then that basically turns it into the Yamaroc YD7001. And the options and the abilities that you get with that are so much better. The configuration software allows you to run multi-protocols as well, so you know how before you could set it to Z21 or DR Command or something like this? Well, now you can set them up to do them all at the same time, basically. And the communication side of it is crazy. I mean, getting everything running through together, your Z21, your DR Command, all this sort of stuff, everything all running in the background together is fantastic. The other thing it also supports now is it supports Y-throttle as well. So you can actually link your phones, tablets, etc. straight to the unit, as opposed to doing it through a computer. The reason I do it through the computer is obviously I then get my Mimic panel, my controllers and my roster and all that sort of stuff, basically. So that's the reason I do it that way. But you can just link straight to the unit now. So yeah, definitely worthwhile upgrade. I'm familiar with the upgrade. I'm just interested to know how you find it in practice. Really good. Really, really good, actually. I use the Y-throttle server on... Yeah, I use the Y-throttle server a lot. So, yeah, I use the Y-throttles there, and then the web server down here to basically do my Mimic panel. I don't think I've ever parked this in the shed just yet, so this is quite interesting.
Cinders and ashes.
Bring my Jubilee out of hibernation. It's got a good deep bark to it. Oh dear, that's not gone well. Oh dear. Oh. That point didn't change. Why? I must have a problem with that. Yeah, I do. I have a problem with that. Okay. Need to resolve that then. Oh, that's not going to help me, is it? That one. TS Railways need to work out a stay alive for my Hornby 08. Now here's the question for you: is your Hornby 08 the original digital sound one, or is it the TTS one? If you read CV8 and it comes back as 151, that's an ESU decoder in it basically, so you can put a stay alive on that ESU decoder.
Cinders and ashes.
$35 in. Wow, I'm impressed. Right, okay, well, do me a favour, guys, though. Do make sure you go and hit that like button for me, though. That would be much appreciated. Is the compound not working yet? No, not yet. It's actually in the cabinet at the moment. The loco you're probably seeing with the firebox going is Novelty, actually. So, yeah. Richard Croft, Road and Rails, was recently selling off some of his stock. So yeah, I partaked in his. I took chance and partaked in the Novelty basically. So yeah.